will do this second type. Yesterday we had done this P naught equals to P naught. If this is the case, then I told you these are called both tail test. Okay. In both tail test, what is the critical region? That was done yesterday at 5% level, significance level. Okay. Today we will do this, out of these two, one type we will do, either greater or less. So let us see. So the question says that in a big city, 325 men out of 600 were found to be smokers. Does this information support the conclusion that the majority of the men in this city are smokers? So it says it has given us a particular calculation information for P, small p, that is 325 and 600. These are given to us. So we, from here we can calculate the observed value. Now we need to state the hypothesis first. So what we will do is, as I told you, that hypothesis should be in the form of an of equals to. So to make it in a form of equals to, we will have to assume certain things, certain probability, right? So in case of the dice problem, I told you that this is a fact and you should memorize this fact, that if a dice is unbiased, then the probability of occurrence of any of the number in the dice is always 1 by 6. Like that, if this type of problem comes, that where you have to test whether the majority of the men in the city are smokers or not, for this type of problem, you need to state first the null hypothesis as the proportion of the smokers and non-smokers are same. That way you have to assume. So if the proportion of the smokers and the non-smokers are same, then the proportion of the smokers will be what? Tell me, anyone? If both are same, proportion of the smokers and also the non-smokers, suppose they are same, then how many will be smoker and how many will be non-smoker out of 100? Out of 100 I'm saying, because we write in the form of a proportion. So I'm saying out of 100.
Ma'am, 50.
50. Half of them will be smokers and half of the men will be non-smokers. So 50-50, right? So simply we will state the null hypothesis that the proportion of the smokers, write down in the solution, you write down. Null hypothesis is that, in the solution you write, null hypothesis is that the proportion of smokers, null hypothesis is that the proportion of smokers in the whole city, null hypothesis is that the proportion of smokers in the whole city is 50%. Out of 100, 50 will be smokers. Okay. So the null hypothesis is that the proportion of smokers in the whole city is 50%. That is 50 by 100. That is 50 by 100. This time our P naught, capital P naught is 0.5. So it is 50 by 100. That means that is equals to 0.5. That is equals to 0.5. So with in symbols you write down H naught, in bracket you write P equals to 0.5. When you will write the formula, we write P naught. But now you write H naught, in bracket you write P, capital P equals to 0.5. Bracket close. Understood? So this we are taking as null hypothesis, because in null hypothesis you have to write something which is in equals to form. That is how your thought process should come. Okay, you have to write the null hypothesis in an equal form. So how we can write it in equal form? Only if we assume something regarding the smoker proportion in the whole city. So we have assumed that half of the proportion, half of the men in the city are smokers. Then we have to test what we have to see. We have to test that whether the majority of the men in the city are smokers or not. This we have to test, isn't it? So, because in the question it is written, does the information support the conclusion that the majority of men in the city are smokers? So, that statement we have not written yet, isn't it? That statement we write now in the form of alternative hypothesis. So, you write alternative hypothesis is that, next line you write, alternative hypothesis is that, write down, alternative hypothesis is that alternative hypothesis is that proportion of smokers is more than 50%. Proportion of smokers is more than 50%. Written? Have you written? Yes, have you written? What I told you, right? Alternative hypothesis is that proportion of smokers is more than 50%. You will not write the line which you can see on your screen. Listen to me. You will write alternative hypothesis is that the proportion of smokers is more than 50%. That is, you write H1. What is the alternative hypothesis then? H1 P greater than 0.5. H1 P greater than 0.5. Isn't it? Have you understood? If the proportion we are assuming, the proportion of smoker is more than 50%, then P we have to write it as greater than 50.50. Isn't it? We have to write H1 P greater than 0.50. Till this much, is it understandable? Tell me, is it understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will calculate the observed value of P from the given information in our question. Okay, and the expected value is 0.5. We have calculated already. Okay, like in yesterday's sum, the observed value was how many times it occurred? 8p times, no? Out of 400, 8p. So observed value was 8p by 400, and the expected value was 1 by 6, that is 0.167. Similarly here, the observed value will be 325 by 600. So write down. The proportion of smokers in the sample, write down, the proportion of smokers in the sample the proportion of smokers in the sample is 325. This is given in the question. You write that. The proportion of smokers in the sample is 325 out of n equals to 600. This n is the sample size. Okay? Out of 600, 325 are smokers. So you need to write this line. The proportion of smokers in the sample is 325 out of small n equals to 600. Full stop. Then write, therefore observed value that is small p equals to 325 by 600. 325 by 600. That is 0.542. Check whether this calculation is correct or not. 325 by 600 is 0.542 or not. Please check and tell me. Is it correct? Is the calculation correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 0.542. So we have calculated the observed value, that is P equals to 0.542. Now we need to write this statement. Always we write this statement. Okay, you write, if the null hypothesis H naught is true, this statement we need to write in every sum. So you write, if the null hypothesis H naught is true.
Ma'am,
Yes.
uh, the calculation should have been 0.541, I think.
1, then what?
Uh, Ma'am, 1 second.
Hmm.
Ma'am, 0.5416.
6. If the next number is more 5 or more than 5, then you can round it off. You can increase one number and stop, because you cannot write the whole numbers, no whole numbers which are after the decimal. So you have to stop somewhere. So when you are stopping somewhere, you need to round that off. How do you round that off? If the very next number is 5 or more than 5, then we increase one number. If it is less than 5, then we keep the number as it is. So since it is 0.5416, that is the number just after 1 is more than 5. That's why we are rounding it off to 2.
Okay,
Understood?
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is how it is done. So next line you write, if the null hypothesis H naught is true, if the null hypothesis H naught is true, comma, then expected value, comma, P naught, expected value, that is P naught, capital P naught, is equals to 0.5. This expected value we have assumed, because we expect that majority of the majority of the men are not smokers. Proportion of the smokers and non-smokers are equal. That is our assumption. So our expectation is that value of P naught should be 0.5. Okay. Now, as per our formula, we need to calculate the standard error also, because if you remember, in the formula of Z statistic, the denominator part was standard error. So you write standard error of P, that is S dot E of P equals to, you'll put a root over, and in the numerator, the formula was PQ by N. The formula was PQ by N. So you write like that. Write down SE of P equals to, right, SE of P equals to small p. SE of P equals to, put a big root over, and then in the numerator under the root over, you write PQ divided by small n. PQ divided by N. PQ divided by N. Okay. Next you write equals to, again put the root over, and this value of P, small p, is 0.5. We know value of small p is 0.5. And what is Q? Q is 1 minus P. Okay. Q is 1 minus P. That means 1 minus 0.5. So again 0.5. So in the numerator, it will be 0.5 into 0.5 divided by 600, because value of n is 600. Okay. So if you calculate, how do you calculate? Yesterday, Ankita helped me to calculate. So how do we calculate? In under the root over, first we multiply the numerator portion. Here the numerator portion is 0.5 into 0.5. That is 0.25, and in the denominator it is 600. So first you divide 0.25 by 600. First you divide 0.25 by 600, and whatever value you are getting, just find out the root over of that value. Using your smartphone or calculator, do it. First you divide 0.25, that is 0.5 into 0.5, that is 0.25. You divide 0.25 by 600. Whatever value you are getting, find out the root over of that value. And tell me whether you're getting this answer or not. That is 0.0204 or not. Check and tell me quickly. 0.0204. Okay, Ankita, thank you. So the value is correct. Those who have not understood the calculation, you can ask how this is coming. Okay. So now we have the value of observed, and we have expected value also, and we also know standard error of P. So we can easily calculate the value of Z statistic. Next line you write, the test statistic is the test statistic is Z equals to, in the numerator, this is a given formula. Okay, you need to memorize this formula for Z test when you are testing proportions. We have not yet started testing means. We'll start that once we finish testing proportions. Okay, so this is a formula given. Z equals to, in the numerator we write observed value minus expected value, and in denominator we write standard error. So in the numerator we write observed value minus expected value, and in the denominator we write standard error. So substitute the value. We know that observed value is 0.542. So in the numerator write 0.542 minus expected value, that is 0.5, divided by 0.0204, and check whether you are getting 2.1 or not. Whether you are getting 2.1 or not, check. Yes, is it 2.1? Is it 2.1? Yes, anyone have completed the calculation? Tell me. 0.542 minus 0.5 divided by 0.0204. What is the value? What is the value, Prayas?
Ma'am, doing.
Eh, simple calculation. Pema, what is the value? Bikram, what is the value? Bikram,
I'm doing.
Ma'am, the answer is correct.
Correct. Okay, very good. Answer is correct. So we are getting the value of z as 2.1. Now see this table, okay, where this critical region was mentioned. See, we are doing the second one. Listen to me carefully, all of you. We are doing the second one, that is p greater than p naught, because our alternative hypothesis we have assumed it as something which is greater than one value, right? So we are doing the second one. In the second one, it says that at 5% level of significance, if the calculated value of z is greater or equals to 1.645, listen to me carefully. If the calculated value of z is greater or equals to 1.645, then we reject the null hypothesis. See, this is the rejection rules for H naught, right? So when we see that if the calculated value of z, that is the test statistic, is greater or equals to 1.645, this is in case of one tail test, that is either greater than or less than alternative hypothesis. Okay, in our case we are doing the second one, that is alternative hypothesis greater than some value. So in this case we have to see whether our calculated z value is greater or equals to 1.645 or not. If it is greater than 1.645, then we reject the null hypothesis, and if it would have been less than 1.645, we would accept the null hypothesis. Okay, so now, one of you tell me, anyone who have understood what I have told just now, if the z statistic value is 2.1, then tell me whether the null hypothesis will be accepted or rejected. Tell me.
Rejected.
Rejected, because 2.1 is more than 1.645. Is it Reena? Reena?
Ma'am.
Okay, very good. So now that we know that our null hypothesis will be rejected, then that means it concludes that the proportion of the smokers and non-smokers are not same. That means proportion of the smokers is more than non-smokers. We reject the null hypothesis. That means we accept the alternative hypothesis. Now quickly write these lines. Since the alternative hypothesis H1, all of you write down. I hope all of you are listening to me and following paper and pen and write down. See, for some portion,
ma'am.
if you have the notes, okay, thank you. If you have the notes and you forget about them, then you will never learn. Even if you have the material with you, still you write. Otherwise, you will not understand what you are doing in numerical portion. So quickly write down this line. Since the alternative hypothesis H1, that is P greater than 0.5, since the alternative hypothesis, that is H1, under bracket you write P greater than 0.5, bracket close, is one-sided. This is called one-sided. When we write not equals to, then it is both-sided. And if we write greater than or less than, then these tests are called one-sided. So this alternative hypothesis is one-sided, comma, the critical region of the test is one-tailed. You write critical region of the test is one-tailed, not tailed. Tail. This spelling is incorrect. Spelling will be tailed. Tailed. The critical region of the test is one-tailed. Full stop. These are called one-tailed. And if it is not equals to, it is called both-tailed. Okay, then write at 5% level of significance, critical region is Z greater or equals to 1.645. 1.645. This is the critical region. So you have to write the critical region. After that, you need to conclude. Then you write these lines. The value of test statistic Z, that is 2.1, lies in the critical region. Write this paragraph. Okay, I'm taking attendance. Write this paragraph, all of you. Okay, so what you need to write? You need to write the value of test statistic, that is Z, equals to 2.1, lies in the critical region and hence is significant. Full stop. We therefore reject the null hypothesis. We therefore reject the null hypothesis at 5% level of significance. We therefore reject the null hypothesis at 5% level of significance and conclude that the data support the alternative hypothesis. Here you add one word, okay? And the data support the alternative hypothesis that majority of men in the city are smokers. Write this entire line, okay? Yes, written. Is it finished? Yes, please unmute and tell me. Have you understood how to decide whether the null hypothesis will be accepted or rejected? We see only the 5% level, okay? We see only the 5% level in most of the times, as long as it is not mentioned in the question. So if the test is one tail, that means we are writing either greater than or less than. Then we have to see if the value of Z is greater or equals to 1.645. Otherwise we see 2 point, how much it was, it was 1.96. If in yesterday's test we had to see whether the value of calculated Z is greater or equals to 1.96 or not. If it is greater then we reject the null hypothesis, and if it is less then we accept the null hypothesis. So in today's test it was one tail, that is greater than we have done. So we have to see whether the calculated value of Z is either greater than 1.645 or less than 1.645. In our case we have seen the value of calculated Z is 2.1, that is more than 1.645. In this case we need to reject the null hypothesis. Rejecting the null hypothesis indicates that our assumption that the proportion of smokers and non-smokers are equal, that is incorrect. That means we reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. An alternative hypothesis is that the majority of the men are smokers. That means also you can write proportion of the smokers in the city is more than 0.5. That way also it can be written. Is it clear? Please tell me, have you understood this problem? Have you all understood this problem? Please tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if any portion is not understandable, if any line or anything is not understandable, you can message me. During the daytime, you message me, I will reply. Okay? Alright, your attendance is given, you can leave the class now.